Park. Today we are talking a little bit about careers specific to your income lesson in the project-based learning curriculum. And I have a couple of guests with me today to share a little bit about their own experience. Would you both go ahead and introduce yourselves for us?
I'll start. My name is Justin Pruitt. I am a senior claims supervisor working in the hospital professional liability lines insurance. I've been doing that for about 6 years, but my underlying profession is I'm a lawyer. Went to law school right after college, and it sort of took a different line off into the insurance industry.
Hi, my name is John West. I'm a partner for a professional services firm, and my job most days is helping companies solve problems and also double checking things that they do to make sure they get to the right answer.
All right, so students, as you get into your this first unit on income and think about the jobs that you want to have someday, you're going to look at a couple of different factors. Things like your abilities, which are your skills, your aptitudes, which are some of those natural talents, your interests, hobbies, and things you enjoy doing, and your values. What are things that are important to you and the companies that you might work for someday, or even the small business that you might start. So Justin, John, when you were younger, what were your plans for after high school?
Well, seeing that I was younger quite some time ago, it's a little bit of a difficult question to go back to. But when I was in high school, I knew that I wanted to be a lawyer. I knew I wanted to practice law. I was in mock trial. I had a penchant for wanting to be in front of people and to speak. So I wanted to find a career that allowed me the chance to be able to do that. I went into law school about 3 years after I graduated from college. I wanted to give myself some time to make sure that it was what I wanted to do. And then I did that for about 3 or 4 years and decided, maybe I should do something a little bit different. Because I wanted to make more money than I was making, but also I wanted to use some other skills that I had and was pretty good at, sort of pertaining to analysis and risk and protecting people. And so the industry that I moved into from the law was into the insurance business, which by its very nature allows me to analyze risk, but also to analyze situations to protect either doctors or hospitals.
Interesting. John, what about you?
The first thing I wanted to be was an astronaut when I was a younger kid, and then as I grew up, I think in high school I was interested in healthcare and pharmaceutical things there, and more of a services sort of approach. But then as I sort of continued to evolve, I had an interest in business, and so ultimately I've ended up in a business setting in services where we're helping other companies. So that was kind of the evolution, but I think all along it was in really a service-oriented type of business.
I think it's so important for students to think about whatever their plans are after high school, whether that's a trade, whether that's a bachelor's degree or graduate school, that there's a lot of opportunity not only for upward trajectory, but also lateral movements and career changes that could take place that still use the same skills or have the same mission, but just in a different industry. I think both of those are great examples to share.
Sure.
All right, gentlemen, do you recall planning as a younger self in your teenage years to have a savings account or any kind of financial investments? And what were you saving for at that point in your lives?
I had no idea what a financial investment was at the age of 8 or 9. But my grandmother, who, much to her credit, set a savings account up for me. I didn't know what it was for. I knew I would get $1 or $2 a week for doing chores around the house, and then somehow that $1 or $2 was divided by half, and the other half went to a bank, and I didn't get that half. Over time, when I was about 10 or 12 or 13, I got to go with my grandmother to the bank to see the savings account and to see what it grew into. And so I understood that, okay, if I saved X dollars, that it would go to a bank, and I would be able to go to that bank and get that money out in the future. I didn't really have a plan as to what I was going to do with that money, but when I was about 15, and I wanted to drive, I realized that I had a little money to go towards my first car. So I understood the correlation between saving money at a very early age to spending that money on something that I really needed or wanted in the future. And that was the first sort of inclination I had in terms of financial investing in myself, but also saving.
Yeah, I remember my first experience saving. So I began working when I was 16. I worked in a restaurant washing dishes for $4.50 an hour. I tell this story a lot. And I learned a lot of lessons in that, but I really enjoyed earning a paycheck and being able to save it. And at 16, it was up to me to figure out where I wanted to go to school and how I would pay for clothes and also have a car. So I enjoyed working, I enjoyed getting my paycheck, and I saved for a car. And then I continued to save over the remainder of high school and also into college. And I had saved so much in the college, I had a fairly nice savings account when I finished college, and I had my career set up with my current employer. And I took everything that I had saved since I was 16 all the way until I was the age of 23 and backpacked through Europe and India for all the hard work I had done in college and also high school. And I spent every penny of it, but it was one of the best experiences I ever had because it was really a reward for all the hard work that I had done and being able to also see the world, which I'd never expected to see. But I very much remember that first savings account.
And then as you're thinking about advice you can give to these students, many of whom again are high school, maybe some middle school students, what's one thing about either your financial path or your career path that you'd wish you had known at their age in high school?
Man, there's so many. For me, it was the cost of my college education. At 17 years old, I didn't realize really what getting a loan meant. I just knew it was a mechanism for me to be able to pay for college. It wasn't until 6 months after I graduated from college that I knew I had to pay that loan back. So if I had to give any advice to anyone who's 17 or younger who's considering going to college, it is, if you're going to save money, save towards a goal. If your goal is to go to college, save towards that. Understand that there are going to be other mechanisms of which you are going to have to pay for things. And loans are one of those things you kind of get thrown at, when you're 18 years old, signing up for college. Know that that loan is your responsibility, and it will be your responsibility until you pay it off. It's a promise to pay in the future, right? You're getting money now, but you're promising to pay that loan back in the future. So had someone told me that, I would have made different choices in terms of the loans that I got, knowing about the interest that goes in the loan, and that I had to pay it back as quickly as I did. But know that that's going to have to be something to consider once you graduate from college.
John, what about you?
I think my advice would be, oftentimes students in high school and college are surrounded by really smart people, and many of them are teachers. And I would say take advantage of their advice and feedback, because I think in my experience, when I was thinking what I would be when I grow up, it was very much confined to what did my parents do, and I thought I would just do exactly what they had done. And by getting advice from teachers and people in college really helped me think bigger and see what other opportunities might be out there. And I think that's a great thing about junior achievement, because it does open up the spectrum of all these different career opportunities and pathways. And using those resources, I think, can be really beneficial, and it's not something I took advantage of.
Great advice. Students, hopefully as you finish out this income unit and do a little more diving deep into some careers and just opportunities that could be in front of you, you'll have found this to be really helpful. We'll see you for the next lesson.